You're listening to the Mastermind Parenting Podcast with Randy Rubenstein, episode 58. Well, hello, guys. For those two of you who are watching me on YouTube, who like to listen to the podcast on YouTube, I've been recording lately with video, and today I am not in my studio. I don't have my fancy blue snowball microphone, which is not that fancy, but wearing my what are they called? AirPods. My kids get annoyed with me when I call them earpods. I'm wearing my AirPods. I'm makeupless. I am about to go to yoga. I just walked my dogs. I've been working from home all morning, which behind me, kind of to the left, is my unmade bed where I literally wrote the majority of my book in my bed. Does that make me seem unprofessional? Okay, so today I have a topic, and it's all about helping around the house, chores, cleaning rooms. Like, how do we get our kids to step up and help out? And I was thinking about this because one of the moms in my mastermind was bringing it up, and she's got teenagers, and they have recently decided not to be in a lot of extracurricular sports. And she's a busy working mom, and she's like, I just can't do it all anymore. I just can't do it all anymore. And I said, why have you been doing it all in the first place? And she's like, I know. And I think this is common, where we just do it, and it's just easier to do it than train the people to do it from a very early age. And then we have kids that are not helpful, and they get to a stage where we get resentful, and we're like, what is wrong with you people? Why are you not helping? You're so entitled. Do you know what I had to do? We go to that place, but the truth of the matter is we accidentally train them to be those people. And so whenever I hear a parent saying, like, how do I get them to be more involved? The word get always is a subtle way of letting me know that there's some kind of control involved. And whenever we feel controlled, like, think about it, you guys, no one wants to be controlled. When you feel like someone's trying to control you, or they want something too badly, you will resist, and you will do the opposite a lot of times of what they're trying to get you to do. So I kind of set you up a little bit. It was a little bit of a booby trap, wordplay booby trap in the title of this, because I know that if the word get is involved, you're feeling powerless. And so you're resorting to something that feels controlling, maybe threatening, maybe shaming. You're making their behavior mean all kinds of things. And that is just not the way that effective leaders lead. And that's not the way you get people to step up to the plate and to do the things, and for it not to all be on your shoulders. So a lot of this momming or parenting, it's about being an effective leader. Really, like, you're the pack leader. So we want to be effective. We want to do what effective leaders do. We want to delegate and establish expectations and communicate clearly and give people the opportunity to step up to the plate and to get to feel that sense of accomplishment. Because contrary to what you're thinking, when you phrase it the right way and when you are an effective leader, your kids love being helpful, right? Like, they love you. They know all the things you got on your plate. They know when you're feeling frazzled and when you're losing your temper. And they want that happier, calmer version of yourself. So when we get a little bit of helpful momentum going, and they have an opportunity to be really valuable team members on your family team, and you help to set them up for success, and you do that, positive communication and really effectively lead, well, now you give them the opportunity to be part of the solution. You give them the opportunity to feel valuable, to have that sense of accomplishment. I had a mom tell me not too long ago that she didn't want to put it on her driving teenage daughter to help drive the younger siblings places. And I said, why? And she said, well, she's not the parent. She shouldn't have that kind of responsibility on her shoulders. And I said, what are you talking about? You guys are a family. You've got a lot of things going on. You have a third driver in the family now. And teenagers love driving. I mean, think about to when you were a teenager. I couldn't wait to run to the grocery store and run this errand and that errand. So if you really think about it, you're giving them the opportunity to be valuable and to help out, and you can appreciate them. You can appreciate them for doing so. It's not something that they're going to resent, especially when you show your appreciation and you guys get that positive momentum going. So those of you, it's understandable why you get sort of pissed off when you're doing all these things. You've had a whole full day and then you see your kids sitting around as you're hustling to get everything done. And it might feel like, it's like this. It's like when I'm doing all the things and I see them Snapchatting, right? I get resentful. I make that behavior mean something that it didn't, but I didn't effectively lead. I didn't communicate all the things that needed to get done, and maybe they're not used to it. So we make their behavior mean something that it actually doesn't. And all that really needs to happen is that we just need to train them differently. And I don't mean to say train them like they're dogs, but I mean really like create new patterns. If you feel like you're working for your kids and you're feeling resentful about it, like that's a sign that something is ready to shift in your household. So if there's constant messes and you're feeling like a complete lunatic because all you want to do is run around and have everything so orderly and clean all the time, I would also check in with yourself on what's underneath that, like all that perfectionism. What is it? Is it that if somebody's super important, or if your mom or your mother-in-law drop in on a moment's notice, that you look like you've got it all together? Because families create messes, right? We do. I mean, that's what happens in a home where you're actually there living. There's going to be little messes. And so I want you to check in and really get honest with yourself. Like, what is this all about? Why does everything need to be so orderly all the time? And can I relent on a few things? So this is like everything. It's so much more than just telling your kids what they need to do or getting them to do anything. You have to start with the mind mastery piece, right? You have to start to have a productive conversation to change the pattern. And the only way to do that is to make sure that you take some kind of ownership for the current pattern. I know you might not want to hear that, and it might sound ridiculous because you're doing all the things and they're sitting there on their freaking devices or doing whatever, and you are annoyed. You're like, I have to take ownership. I've been doing all the things. But remember, to disrupt the current pattern, begin by recognizing what your role was in terms of creating this current pattern. And if you could have gone back in time, how maybe you would have done it differently, right? Like a 6-year-old or a 7-year-old, no, they're not going to set the table as good as you. The fork might be on the wrong side. The napkins may not be folded. It's okay. And what about making their beds? Like, they may have just thrown the stuff over and put their stuffed animals around. Why did it need to be hospital corners? Who cares? So when you went after them and did all the things just right and just perfectly, then we've taught them that their way is never going to be good enough. It's never going to be up to snuff, rather than letting them be a beginner at something and then slowly over time improve and acquire a skill set, right? We haven't done it. So the first thing is, I want you to own your role, recognize your ownership in the current pattern. The second thing is have a productive conversation and get on the same page before you institute the new pattern. So the productive conversation, for those of you who don't know, remember, it's see their perspective, actively listen, problem solve together. I have a whole podcast about it. And you really want to sell them on why this is a way that you guys are going to work together as a team. It's not a prison sentence. So you're going to sell rather than sentence. This is not a, you need to start stepping up to the plate and blah, 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 blah. It's you get to start really helping out. We're going to be working more cohesively together. If I could go back in time and do it differently, I would have. And it's really important for everyone to come together and to help this household run smoothly. And then the third thing is, I want y'all to remind yourself that it takes reminders and consistent follow through to make this new helpfulness pattern around the house stick. Expect to repeat yourself. Just expect it. New patterns take a plan, they take practice, and they take consistent follow through. So reach out if you guys need support on this, but it's really so much easier to turn it around. And I want you to remember, this pattern is here because you allowed it to be here. You're the parent. And you may have taken the path of least resistance and just done it yourself because it was just easier. And now you're ready to change that pattern. Don't beat yourself up about it, right? Like, you did what you knew how to do. And now you're learning new things and you're going to do it differently. And also remember, put your sales hat on. Be an influencer. Let your kids know. And catch them when they do helpful things. When you have one kid helping drive the other kid, when you have little kids who make their bed or put their clothes in the dirty clothes or help set the table or put their toys away in the playroom, what you focus on grows. So catch them being good, catch them, and then praise them, and like effective praise. Look at you. You put everything exactly where it goes. Way to go. Now you'll know where to find it next time. Look at you helping out around the house, driving your sibling here or there. You know how much better that made my day? I didn't have to stress about getting to pick up on time, and I was able to finish this project. That was really helpful. Amazing. We're working so well together. This family is awesome. So there's a little bit of a rah-rah session. It feels good. It might sound hokey. And if you're already at the stage of teenagerhood, you know, your kids are teenagers, you make it a little eye-rolling, or maybe like, what? And it still feels good for them. Even if they roll their eyes, they still love it. So that's what I've got for you guys today. I'm off to yoga. I don't want to be late. Have a great week. Bye-bye.